been declared winner. There you have now the clear pictures. He's been declared governor-elect of Nairobi County, and he's just arrived to collect his certificate. You know, people making fun out of this situation, why he's late. He'll have to answer that, maybe to the press. But nonetheless, he's arrived to pick his certificate, something together with the deputy. He's arrived at Kasarani now, the Nairobi County Tallying Center. Finally, it's done and dusted. Live images from Kasarani. He's come, driving himself to collect his certificate. Coming first, Polycarp the second, and a few minutes ago, let me just get that tweet clearly, where Igade tweeted and said that he has conceded defeat. That's 27 minutes ago. I accept the decision of the people of Nairobi and thank all of our supporters. The governor of Nairobi is His Excellency Johnson Sakaja. Congratulations. God bless Kenya. And now he's back and he's arrived at the Nairobi Tallying Center to collect his certificate. Without that crucial document, then it can never be counted. It can never be counted. He's arrived. Somehow around 40 or so minutes later, arriving together with his deputy. We are yet to see what will happen. And of course, I think the likes of Sifuna and Pasaris have already exited the place. Majestic walk to victory. That is how it is. You walk into the room, and I'm so sure that they've been waiting, and perhaps things have just cooled down. Straight to the returning officer, order of business. First of all, you present yourself and collect your certificate. Now that is exactly what is done. Straight to the returning officer, and there he is, together with his deputy. All right. There you have him. He's no longer senator. He's now governor-elect. Having served as a senator of Nairobi, now that title has changed, governor-elect. We're waiting to see how he's going to make his victory speech. He's gone through a lot of turbulence to the run-up to the general election, and now it's a done deal, so to speak. We're waiting to see what happens. Remember, he had to take his certificate. Well, so long as you're around, well, take it. So that is it. Esther Pasaris, woman representative, Edwin Sifuna, senator, and now we have Johnson Arthur Sakaja as the governor-elect of Nairobi. Curia, finally.
Yeah, we have Johnson Sakaja. For a person who has actually won the seat after so much turbulence, and then considering the fact that the majority of members of parliament in Nairobi are actually has been, I would expect his victory speech to be one of trying to build bridges in Nairobi, so much so that the county can sail forward, obviously bridging the political divide. Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Can we listen in? I think the returning officer is speaking.
Now, as the county returning officer, we have tallied
All right, we have interrupted a bit there as our cameraman sets up, and I think now he's ready. Let's go back there.
310 registered voters. The votes garnered by each of the candidates are as follows. Haman Singh Dewal, 10,521. Polycarp Igathi Kamau, 173,516. Let me increase my power. Agnes Takure Kariuki, 10,086. Cleophas Matua Kiyo, 6,485. Dennis Arua Ochim Kote, 5,557. Nancy Wambui Mwandime, 5,531. Kenneth Nara Nyamwamu, 7,377. Johnson Arthur Sakaja, 699,000. Esther Warika Tairu, 5,944. And therefore, by the figures that I've just read, the winner for the election of county governor for Nairobi City County 2022 is Johnson Arthur Sakaja. For garnering 699,392 votes. Now I wish we did issue the certificate, or I wish to call the governor-elect and his running mate, because it was a joint ticket to come forward to receive the certificate. You may stand here. Governor-elect running mate next to him. This is what the certificate says. Certificate of the elected county governor. The county returning officer hereby declares that Johnson Arthur Sakaja, passport number A1627553, has been duly elected as the county governor for Nairobi City County in the election held on 9th day of August 2022. County returning officer signature dated this 14th day of August 2022. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Sasa mnaweza shikilia wawili mkipigwa picha hapa. Before you resume your seat, I would like to grant you a moment to speak a word or two to the team that is here, your supporters and everyone present. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, CRO. My supporters, if you could allow them maybe just to come in and stay on that side. Ama tazungumza nje ili waje vizuri. I want to thank God for this day and for this journey. I want to thank the people of Nairobi for believing in me and giving me this mandate and this task of serving them as governor of Nairobi. I want to thank my family for allowing me to go through this process. Of course, my deputy governor, my good friend, Njoroge Mushiri, a man whose capacity I believe in, I trust, and I want to tell the people of Nairobi, you're in safe hands with Njoroge Mushiri as my deputy and with myself as governor of Nairobi. I want to thank my team, starting with my chief agents, David and Kerich, Priscilla, Gitao, everybody, Muzia Wakili Nyamu, my entire team across the city, Team Sakaja, Team Nairobi, siku zote, and the millions of Nairobians. The result of this election speaks volumes about our country. In the last election, I had 840,000. There were 1.7 million voters. In this election, there have been more voters, but a lower turnout. This country is yearning for leadership. And this country is yearning for inspirational leadership. That is a task before us, because this time, the turnout has been much lower. Another thing is that, if you look at the elections in Nairobi, the elections in Nairobi have spanned political divide. People from across have been able to vote in a resolute manner. That is a message that anyone who is looking keenly needs to take note of. I really want to thank my party leader, William Samoei Ruto. His Excellency William Ruto, I want to thank you for believing in me. I want to thank especially Musalia Mudavadi and the entire Kenya Kwanza team, Rigathi Gachagua and Wetangula. It has not been an easy journey. Many did not want me to be on the ballot, leave alone the ballot. The last 5 days have been sleepless nights because of many things. But we look forward as leaders. I want to acknowledge and thank my worthy opponents, especially my main opponent, Pauli Kapigade, who is a friend, who is a man I respect, who I have known. I want to thank him for his gallant efforts, and that he held true to what we believe in, siasa safi. That politics is not enmity, siasa sio wadui. And that the people of Nairobi realize that no matter our different tribes, no matter our different parties, we have the same challenges. There is no Kikuyu hunger different from Luo hunger. There is no problem that faces the Luya that is different from the Kalenjin or the Kisi. We have the same challenges. And we realize that invariably, everyone wants the same thing: to go about their lives peacefully, to make something out of themselves, and to guarantee their children a future. To the people of Nairobi, I will not let you down. To the people of Nairobi, you can look forward to a new Nairobi, a city of order, a city of dignity, a city of hope and opportunity for all. Ultimately, we will make this city what it deserves to be. And so I'm very grateful. I want to acknowledge those who've been there before me. I want to thank His Excellency Evans Kidero, who was our first governor in Nairobi. He set the foundation for devolution in our county. He didn't have an easy time. I've learned from his strengths and from his weaknesses. I want to thank my friend Mike Mbuvi Sonko, our second governor of Nairobi, and I acknowledge the challenges he went through, his successes and his weaknesses. I want to thank Anne Kananu, the current governor, for what she has been able to go through. These are all people I speak to, and I acknowledge them. And I also want to thank the outgoing NMS, led by General Badi. I thank them for the work they have done for the city. I acknowledge it's not been easy. I have learned from them. But I want to affirm that from the day we were sworn in, all the functions of county governments under the 4th schedule, all the 14 functions shall revert to the county government. Finally, I really want to honor the people of Nairobi for being peaceful, for seeing each other as their brother and their sister. We've not had violence in the city. We've interacted. We've met people campaigning on different parties and different platforms and saying hi to each other. We've joked around. There are those who have called me names. I want to thank them all. Those who voted for me, asanteni. Those who didn't vote for me, thank you for expressing your political rights under Article 38, and I will prove you wrong. I will work for all of you. I want to give my DG an opportunity to just say something as well. Then I close.
Governor-elect Nairobi County Johnson Sakaja speaking there about his victory and of course extending an olive branch to his main rival, that is Polycarp Igathe, and his supporters. And like I said, I would expect, obviously, having Nairobi under Azimio in terms of National Assembly leadership, as well as now the Senator and Woman Rep, I would expect probably that his speech would be conciliatory, and true indeed. He has lived up to the conciliatory end of our speech. Maybe we can listen in to the Deputy Governor-elect, that is Njoroge Mushiri. He has actually done. Those are live pictures from Kasarani. As Johnson Sakaja received his certificate. Remember earlier the IEBC returning officer had declared him winner after garnering 699,000 votes, 699,392 against his closest rival, Jubilee's Polycarp Igathe Kamau, who got 573,516. And already through his verified Twitter account, Polycarp Igathe has conceded defeat and acknowledged Johnson Sakaja as the governor-elect, obviously not even showing a sign of either contesting the results, and says he has accepted that and wishes him all the very best. And that is how politics ought to be done. We're still live from Kasarani. The other picture on your screen is from the Bomas of Kenya, where the verification of results continues to, that is where the exercise is continuing. By morning, when we were talking to Serafina Nairobi, we had about 144 constituencies, and that makes about 146 that are remaining. And obviously, we will also be going back to the Bomas of Kenya for a status update, probably by the time Chebukati is coming up, probably another 20 constituencies that will be announced, and the results obviously displayed on the board. We predicted right that at around or sometime after 10, Johnson Sakaja would make his way to Kasarani, and there he goes, walking away with a certificate after that win, and mobbed by his supporters. Kerich was actually an agent of Sakaja, surprisingly. And I also see Boniface Nyamo, who has been one of his counsels or lawyers and his agent here, and now they walk off probably to celebrate victory after this win. And you would agree, Victor Olo, the win for Sakaja has come after probably what you would say, if not blood, then sweat.
Or probably both.
Yeah?
Probably both.
Probably both, but we have not been able to witness blood other than, you know, sweat.
It was long coming. He's had his fair share. Of course, the last two or 3 months has been so tough on him, and how he's managed to navigate through all this, I think he's the only person who can give us the real feeling and the real story. For us, we can just speculate from the periphery on what was happening, what is felt, what is going through, but he's the one who can give us the real clear picture on how it all felt, from court case to court case, back to the political arena, crossing to Uganda. We covered all that for you, but finally it has come to pass for him, and he's now the governor-elect of Nairobi County, one of the biggest county in Kenya. He has got a lot of work to do, having in mind that there is a lot in this particular county. We have got parliament, we have got the UN headquarters here. Those are live pictures, but you just have to excuse the camera work there. Those are the beauty. That's the beauty of live pictures, so that you get the real feeling on what happens to the ground. There's nothing edited, raw, and uncut. Live from Kasarani, probably, if he'll talk to the media, it will be a good one as well, apart from his victory speech. So as I was saying, sometimes it has to get to that point that, you know, Nairobi being the capital city, capital is the county, the biggest county in Kenya. We have got the UN headquarters, Parliament is here, State House, the international airport, the Senate, name it. A lot is in store for Sakaja, and a lot of expectation.
The Ngumi Nibotse.
Absolutely.
And, you know, interestingly, one of the luckiest persons in this contest, as you see it, is Njoroge Mushiri. He was actually running for governor in Nyandarua County.
Yes.
Did not succeed in the UDA nominations there. On coming back to Nairobi, he's picked by Sakaja as, you know, the deputy governor. So you would imagine failing in one contest and then succeeding in another, in a very strategic city such as Nairobi. And you would say Nairobi is actually the center of power.
Actually, yes, you're right.
That's Sakaja being mobbed by his followers. But quite an interesting thing he has said there about, you know, recovering all functions that have been under the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. To, you know, have a firm grip on the county as the next governor of Nairobi County, you know, being in charge of affairs. But it is also important for us to emphasize that that will also be a legal process, you know, the handover from NMS to Nairobi County, because I understand probably the term of the NMS is going to come to an end after this election. But the takeover will not just be abrupt, it will be again another process. Just like they were transferred legally, they will be transferred back legally. And that is very important to note, Victor.
True that. And having NMS in, you know, having its operations in the city, it was a bit of some legal battle and opinion coming from different people, whether it was legally constituted to run the affairs of the city. The way you're putting it, it will also be interesting to see, because NMS, if I get it right, their contract and the term of tenure is almost coming to an end.
It is coming. Actually, it came to an end but they have gotten extensions through the very same instruments under which they are operating. But there is no doubt, because there's a new government in Nairobi County, obviously there will be now a handover back to Nairobi County, because they took up about 4 functions, and they will bring them back to Nairobi County. But that also must be a procedural issue, just like it was procedural, you know, as they were being handed over to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, and that will happen. You remember at some point, I think the High Court has declared NMS an illegal entity, or the transfer of those functions unconstitutional. But then again, it had already happened, and admittedly so, you can see the prints of NMS around town as you walk. You can actually see their presence in terms of what they have been able to deliver. And one can only hope then that the precision with which they implemented some of these things can also happen in the city county. I was talking to the DG, the Director General of NMS just about I think a year ago on this set. And he was talking about the amount of money they used to repair broken vehicles at City Hall. They were billed, when they asked the engineers, or rather the mechanics around City Hall, how much it would cost. They were told it was going to cost about 600 million shillings to repair about 24 broken vehicles. When he called in engineers, or so you would say experts from the Kenya Defence Forces, they used 4 million shillings to have those vehicles up. So it tells you that if we can have somebody to continue with that legacy of NMS, in the sense that we reduce on wastage and this back and forth that we see in counties, where people just want to benefit by, you know, consuming and eating people's money other than, you know, service delivery, it would be very interesting. And I would also want to see then if there is a way, Victor, because Kenya Defence Forces are our disciplined forces, if there is a way also that they can be embedded in some of these jobs, so much so that they help, you know, in reducing the cost of maintenance of some of these things. Because when it comes to roads, when it comes to engineers or doctors, the Kenya Defence Forces, you know, prides to have the very best among the fallen rank.
Of course, they do. And we even saw the other day when President Kenyatta was launching the musical class at the new Defense University. We saw that these soldiers are literally in class. Literally in class. And you know, if you get into the army or any military as a cadet, then it means that you're getting there as a professional. Either you're a doctor and you're needed there, you're a driver, you're an engineer, or even journalists like us. You get there, we have your journalists who are in the army, who are doing amazing job. So yeah, you're right. If at all a pocket of military could be absorbed in, you know, some of these government institutions which need a bit of a boost to operate, then I think it's fine. The same way happening with KEMSA, right? KEMSA. We've heard the story of KEMSA, the history of KEMSA, riddled with corruption and, you know, looting and all manner of that. And Kenyans lost a lot of money, running into billions of shillings through that. And the government had to move in pretty quickly to salvage the image and the situation at KEMSA, because without KEMSA, I would imagine the kind of scenario we'd have in this country, Curia.
Obviously, again, now that's another conversation, particularly when you talk about KEMSA. One of the biggest problems we've had in this country, and it is replicated in Murang'a and a few other counties, is that if you owe KEMSA any debt as a county, there will be no supply of drugs in that county. So that means then we need to, you know, just have the monopoly of supply needs to be removed from KEMSA, and I've had experts talk about it. Remove the monopoly of supply of drugs to government hospitals and facilities from KEMSA, so that even counties can also be able to procure drugs for themselves, probably from another facility, and the kind of drugs they want. The only other challenge is the loophole for corruption that we are going to be creating there, because if governors then do not make a conscious decision to manage the resources well and on behalf of the people they represent, we will be opening another loophole for governors to be buying drugs from their wives or their relatives. You know? I have pictures from Bomas of Kenya.
It seems that it's
it's one of those situations that we're damned if you do and we're damned if you don't.
Yes.
Considering health is involved, it would make more sense for operations to be running from the county level for each county to just ensure efficiency and effectiveness does not need to follow a chain source, which is the particular entity demand. But then again, it's one of those situations that you just pray that should we go this direction, it would end up being the proper decision. But going back to that aspect of, you know, the role of military and some of these parastatal and state organizations, entities rather, and I think Nairobi County has proven
Yeah.
Live pictures
from Bomas. It seems like it's now full house, back to business. In the morning when we started the show, it was a bit dull. Perhaps we'd say that they left for a break, and they're now back. We'll get to Bomas and talk to our reporters there, sort of in Nairobi, to give us an update of what we should be expecting. We've not seen any status update from the Commission so far. The time now is 10:42. We are likely to see another one, maybe before midday, depending on their schedule and the program, based on what's happening there. But so far, so good. It's a full house.
Not bad.
Right?
Not bad.
Yeah.
So, should we head over to the Bomas of Kenya? All right. Let's link up with our team, Bomas, probably for a quick update on what is ongoing and some bit of analysis on the events there. Bomas of Kenya team, over to you.
Well, Good morning, John Jacob Kioria, back there in Broadcasting House. It's a cold morning here to the Bomas of Kenya. And of course, the numbers continue to stream in, and the numbers that we have so far is that more than 240 constituency numbers have been brought here, and the IBC has already verified 145. So that tells you that the process is continuing in earnest, and there is every other determination to ensure that this process is concluded probably today evening or maybe tomorrow morning latest, and so you can feel that urgency here. The energy levels are telling you that every effort is being made to ensure that this process is concluded, because you can feel the fatigue even of the people inside here, from politicians to IBC officials to political party agents, even the security. I mean, there is that feeling that it is time that now we conclude this process so that people can go and engage on other issues. Security, as always, it has been tied here, and IBC has come up with new requirement that only 4 political party agents will be allowed to go inside. Remember, before it was a free fall. Some political parties were even having up to 28 party agents inside here, and so that created a lot of confusion, because the verification process was taking a little bit of time. I mean, tempers have been flaring and emotions running high inside that hall. When we came in the morning, I mean, there were papers strewn all over the place because of the reported fracas that ensued, pitting Azimio la Umoja and Kenya Kwanza party members, but somehow the police managed to prevail, the two parties, and of course they managed to restore order. So as you can see on your screen now, it looks calm and easy, with now verification exercise going on. As I said, it is the desire of IEBC to ensure that this process is concluded before the close of the day today, and if that would be possible, then this process is finalized before tomorrow afternoon. So that's the desire here, that is the feeling here, and so we are keeping an eye to exactly see how that process is proceeding. According to the official results that have been so far given by IEBC, William Ruto is commanding a slight lead with about 51.25% of all the total votes that have been verified so far, with about 3.6 million votes, followed by Azimio la Umoja Raila Odinga with about 48.09% of the total verified votes, with about 3.87 million votes. Wajakoya George is coming at number 3 with about 0.43% of all the total verified votes, with about 30,527 votes. A Ghana party candidate, that is David Wahiga, coming in 4th with 0.23% of total verified votes, or 16,189 votes. And so when you do your math, you realize that you're talking about almost 7.5 million votes, which is about half of what we're expecting to come here, because the numbers are about 14.5.